Welcome to another edition of Elevate Your Grind, brought to you by the Cannabis Lab. My name is Todd Rosales, and I am your host. I've also been wearing the same shirt for the last 3 episodes, so you don't know which episode you're currently watching right now. I do that because Robert Friedman, the founder of Cannabis Lab, never knows if he's sharing the right video if I'm wearing the same shirt. So, Robert, you're going to see the red shirt probably for the rest of the season, at least till 100 videos, just because I really want to make your job tough. I'm joking partially, but it is red shirt season for me, and that's what we're doing here. Sorry we're a little late, guys. Just trying to get used to the new schedule, get here on time, but we were never, ever on time, honestly, to begin with. Coming up this Thursday, we actually, for those of you who are down here in Florida, we've recently had a huge announcement in Florida. Cookies is going to be opening up retail locations in Florida. Really excited to have Daniel Fertel of Cookies on to tell us all about Cookies coming to Florida. Look forward to that Thursday. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern. So live here at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, facebook.com/Cannabis Group. We've got some awesome interviews that dropped today on our YouTube page. That's youtube.com/Elevate Your Grind. If I remember correctly, we've got Christian Shank from Driven Deliveries. We've got Thomas Meredith from Blaze Staffing. And the last one is escaping me, and whoever that is, it's probably going to get mad at me, but I'll remind you on that on Thursday. No panels coming up, but we're putting together some really good ones. We're looking actually to put together a cannabis beverage panel on the 22nd of October, so look forward to that. Any other panels you guys want to see, go to joinclab.com. You can check out everything that we're doing. You can also check out the old episodes of Elevate Your Grind there as well. And we've got some really great stuff coming for you on the website. All right. My guest today is addicted to being an entrepreneur. She's had several startups. Some of them have done good, some of them not so good, but that's the story of an entrepreneur. I'm really excited about her new company that she's working on right now. I love seeing technology in this space. I have a technology background, super interesting to me. When you can combine technology and cannabis, it is always a great world. Those worlds were always combined in the past, but just not in a formal way. But I'm really excited to hear her story, hear her entrepreneurial journey, and how she ended up here. And on top of that, I'm really hoping we get to dig into the technology and what they're doing today. So please welcome my guest, Vanessa Gabriel, the CEO and co-founder of Drop Delivery. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, really excited to be here. Excited to share my story and what we're doing at Drop. It's an honor.
Very cool. Well, I really appreciate you joining me. So I said in the little introduction there that you were addicted to being an entrepreneur. And I say that because while a lot of us were in school and just really trying to find out who we were as a person, your freshman year, you found out who you were as a person and actually started your first company in college. Is that true?
It is true, yeah, like straight out of my dorm, actually. I think it was, my second semester of my freshman year. I grew up in the Bay Area, and I was always around business. Both my parents ended up having their own businesses, so like business was always a talk around the dinner table. I knew I wanted to major in business because the world just revolves around business, and I wanted to be my own boss one day. So I went away for college in Colorado, and I loved fashion, and I still do. But at the time I was on a college student budget. My parents were like, you can get a job in college and pay for everything you want. We're just going to pay for your tuition basically. And so, I got 2 jobs before school even started my freshman year, which is why? So I went straight into working and had my own money. And then, I loved shopping online, but nothing really fit my style. And I loved shopping on discount sites and flash sale sites like Guilt Group and Hotluck and Beyond the Rack back during that time, 2010, 2011. But I was like, it's not really my style, not really my price points, even though it's discounted. So I was like, why don't I just make my own flash sale site for college students and brands that we love as young adults. And so, I came back home, got some of my friends, some of my family to kind of start this business with me. So funny enough, Mark, my CTO at Drop now, he started it with me back in the day. And Jade, my sister, she was an intern for me at the company for a little bit and helped with photo shoots. But it was literally the young entrepreneur's dream. We got our own warehouse. We had a photo studio. We housed all our inventory. We had our offices. So all of this at 19 and 20 years old, having your own warehouse to just have a business and yeah, it was crazy. We were going to trade shows, the biggest fashion trade shows like Magic in Las Vegas, and we were getting invited to like, industry parties, and we weren't even allowed to drink. And it was
Did you go to class?
I did still go to class. Yeah, I did. And funny enough, I went back to Colorado for one semester and I was like, I can't do this. Like my business, my team is all back in California. So I ended up transferring back to California, left Colorado so I could run the business here with the team. And yeah, I was still going to school full time. I just crammed all my classes like on Tuesdays and Thursdays from literally 8 a.m. to like 8 p.m. so that I could have most of my week free to run the business. But yeah, we were like even approached by like MTV for a reality show at the time, just because
Wow.
what we were doing was just like so fun. But we got beat out by some show like from the Midwest about kids like living on like a farm and stuff. What we were doing wasn't like cool enough than like riding ATVs and like shooting guns in your backyard. But yeah, I do like look at that time as like some of the funnest years, and obviously our very first jump into entrepreneurship pretty much as a team, because Mark and Jade, our co-founders, have dropped as well. So great team synergy. We all know each other. We're like family. So yeah, it was a really, really fun time.
I mean, that's one hell of a trial by fire. I mean, you couldn't take business classes that would have given you near the experience that you had.
Yeah.
I want to take one funny aside here. You had mentioned the Magic Show, which is a fashion industry show. My parents were in the fashion industry. They had a necktie company forever. I want to tell you, when I found out about that show as like a 3 or 4 year old kid, it is the biggest bait and switch to a 3 or 4 year old in the world. Because here I am, my parents are telling me we're going out to Vegas for the Magic Show, and I'm expecting David Copperfield and all these guys. No, it's an apparel show, men's
Yep.
apparel in California, which doesn't even take place in California. So I thought that was hilarious that you brought that up. So I literally just told that story to someone where I'm like, I literally thought we were going to David Copperfield show, and next thing I know, I'm with Tommy Hilfiger. Like, and as a 3 or 4 year old, I really didn't care. But going back into your story, so all of a sudden freshman year, you're running this business. How do you, as everybody else, the rest of us are trying to figure out just our place in the world and what groups do we fit in with and how do I find my ENC 1101 class? You're sitting there figuring out, how do I convince other people to build this website for me with our needs? How do I find warehouse space? How do I find all this stuff? How do you find Mark and the people that are going to take this journey for you when you guys are 18 years old and freshmen in college? How do you find those like-minded individuals?
Yeah, so I mean, I really just looked at like my friend group and who was doing things creatively potentially. So back in the day, Mark was actually a photographer. So when he joined the team for that first startup, we hired him to be our photographer, kind of like creative director for the fashion side of things. And then Jade was always into fashion as well. So it was like, okay, you can help me with the photo shoots and get the models ready and pull the inventory. And then everybody else kind of, it spread from there, like, oh, I know a friend that is doing this or is studying this in school. So it kind of aligned. We kind of, tried to surround ourselves with people that believed in the vision of what we were doing and, wanted to be a part of the team. But I mean, who wouldn't want to like be part of a team that had a warehouse, that got to fashion trade shows and traveled and worked with influencers at the time. Like, it wasn't, influencers like 10 years ago weren't even like the influencers of today, which is like crazy. And we were like working with influencers back then off of a website called lookbook.nu, where they would like post their photos, because Instagram wasn't as big as it is now. So yeah, it was crazy. And I think what's great is the support system I had. So like my parents were business owners themselves. So, my dad helped with, okay, you need warehouse space. Let's go try and find you warehouse space. It was literally around the corner from my house, and I literally
That's
could ride
awesome.
to my office, which was amazing. And yeah, like a 2,000 square foot office, and we built everything. It was basically a blank slate, and we built everything. I'll have to send you videos of our warehouse because we used to make like really fun like YouTube videos back in the day of the
Well,
team and like what we were doing. But yeah, so really just who did I know who was doing cool things? Okay, hey, I have this business. Do you want to join me? It's been pretty fun, and I think you'll enjoy it. And yeah, so that was pretty much it. And all the people that worked there back in the day were all really good friends. We're all, support each other and doing creative things. So it's really cool that we can kind of attribute that time to kind of like our launch pad into business. But yeah, I did leaving school because I was like, I'm taking an entrepreneurship class. I'm getting tested on entrepreneurship, but I'm living it every day. I'm reading stuff out of a textbook. I'm doing like, projects that start your own business. And I'm like, you guys, I am this right now. And this textbook.
Here's my balance sheets, Mr. Professor. Is this a good project for you?
Yeah, so I mean, it just didn't align at the time, and what I was getting out of school wasn't equating to what I was living in the real life and what I was learning every single day from running my own business. So yeah, I did end up leaving school because I just thought that, hey, I have these business ideas that I think I should move on, and I think that right now school is not giving me what the real world is giving me. So.
And I don't remember if it was this company or the next one that you actually even started doing, you did a capital raise for as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, even the first one, A Society, I did a friends and family round. I did all these pitch events. I was winning pitch events at the time. I was really going for it. Like I would take the BART. So I lived in the Bay Area. I would go to school, and then after school, I would take the BART all the way into San Francisco and go to these pitch events by myself and do all these things to just try and get the word out there. And I think that's what's really helped now in my role is that I was pretty fearless. And I literally had nothing to lose. I was so young, and I was pretty naive in the sense that I didn't let like fear stop me. I would like literally just talk to anyone and apply for all these events. So yeah, we did raise a little bit of money, but the business model was so capital intensive, and having overhead of inventory can be really costly if you're not selling it. So that's what happened to the business, that it just became too costly and the bubble kind of bursted for that business model as well, like, 1 or 2 years later. So, but then that gave birth to the second startup that I had with Jade, which was like the shoppable
Which
media.
was even cooler.
Yeah, exactly. So we were trying to do really cool things. We were working with influencers. We were creating digital content. We tried to have a digital payment system like a Afterpay or Affirm back in the day, because we were inspired by QVC, because who was the only ones doing, flex payments on your purchases,
funny.
like QVC. And so we were like, oh my God, college students need this. But yeah, we called it FlexPay at the time. But the shoppable media was what really got us excited, because we were like, okay, we can ditch the inventory model. We can still be in fashion. We can still work, in the digital content space. And I should be able to shop that photo or that video. And like, Instagram only started doing that like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's like crazy when we were trying to do it like 10 years ago. So we were really early on the business model. Jade and I moved to New York, tried to make it happen. And it was just, it was really hard. I was really young, huge transition, moving from a very small town in the Bay Area to, New York City. Jade was very young at the time as well. She was like finishing her senior year of school. And I was just trying to find my way. I mean, I had just, my first business didn't pan out. My second business, I was trying to get off the ground in New York, but also just trying to like survive in the, concrete jungle. We had a bunch of interns, which was really cool. I don't know how we convinced like a bunch of other to listen to us, but me and Jade did. Like Jade was managing interns at like 17, like her own team of interns, and so was I. And we would like meet at coffee shops in New York City and work on the business together. But unfortunately, life just like happened, and I needed to like be able to pay rent, and so I had to like go kind of get a day job just to make ends meet for a bit.
That must have been really hard for you at that point. I mean, obviously New York is listen to me, I think New York is a very hard place to get by because the rents are ridiculous. The cost of living is ridiculous, right? It's a very expensive place. I mean, you probably should have had all of those interns living in a single apartment so you guys could all afford it. But, at that point, and I don't mean to put a negative spin on your story, because obviously it's worked out and you're the CEO of your own company again. How did it feel like at that point where you're like, all right, I guess I have to go get a job? Because, you know, you had two businesses, then you found a little bit of success there, you got the experience, but you're also young where it was like, it wasn't out of the question where maybe you're going to go work for somebody else. What was that feeling like for you?
Oh yeah, it was probably some of the hardest times in my life, just coming to that realization that, hey, I had two businesses and right now I'm not making enough money to pursue them full time, and that I have to, go get a day job just to make ends meet. And so, yeah, that was such a hard pill to swallow, especially after promoting myself and promoting my business. And yeah, even though the first one didn't work out, I was so hopeful about the second one. But I mean, that's life. Like life happens, and I think it was such a great learning experience because I went back, and I got a great gig doing US e-commerce for a big European beauty brand. And I got that job because of my experience. I didn't get that job because I went to school and I had a degree. It was like, hey, look, I have X couple of years, firsthand experience of working in the fashion industry and e-commerce, so I can do this. But yeah, and it was a great gig. And even before that, I was just doing random stuff because I was like, I just need to make money to live here. And eventually I'll figure it out, make my way back to business. I had no idea what that would look like, but we put Wanderlust on hold. I just tried to make it like ends meet pretty much. I ended up being a personal assistant to a handbag designer, like basically my first job after those two businesses. And that was like such a blow to my ego. It was like, I was just my own boss, and now I'm getting coffee for this other lady, and I'm getting her coffee, I'm getting her lunch, she's telling me what to do. Like, this sucks. And I lasted like 2 months. I was like, I cannot do this. And then I bounced around. I was like a receptionist at a PR firm, and that was fine. I literally wasn't doing anything. I was just like scheduling meetings, and people would come into the office, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you can go see that person. And it was so boring. And so I was like, okay, what am I doing with my time, my life? And then the commerce job came up, and I was like, okay, it looks like a great gig. It's in beauty, which is very similar to fashion. I get to travel to Europe. They were based out of Amsterdam. And so I was like, okay, I think I could do this for a little bit. And so I did it. But then I was working in a basement, like from 9 to 5 every single day in New York City. And then I also lived in a basement. So then it was just like, oh my gosh, like after a year, I was like, this is not worth it. I'm in a basement like 24 hours a day. Like mentally and emotionally, this is just not working out for me. I'm packing boxes, and this is not what I see like for myself right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a hard couple of years for sure, but I think it showed me like I do want to go back to running my own business and being my own boss, and find my way back to entrepreneurship in some way.
Let me ask one more hard question, because I think you have a very inspiring story. I think, for me as a kid to see conversations like this, I would have loved to see them because they weren't as available to us when we were younger, right? I mean, you don't need to call your age, but I'm 34. So I remember when I was a kid, like you didn't see entrepreneurs talk. It was mostly celebrities and everything else. And nobody talked about the failures. They talked about the wins and everything else. I think why a lot of people don't take chances and put themselves out there is their own group of friends, the people they care about most. They have a reputation in there, and they're afraid that if they fail, like their friends are going to look down upon them and everything else. And we hope that's not the case. I know for me, that's why I never did something like this at first, because I wasn't sure if it was going to be good enough. So, when you had to make that transition, you were probably a rock star amongst your friends coming out of the gates with two businesses. Was that a thought? And I don't ask you for you, but I ask you to kind of give advice to the people that want to follow in your footsteps. Like, was that a hard thing to deal with when you had to like, okay, yeah, I had two businesses, I'm going to get a job. I mean, clearly you persevered and come out the other side, but that's just a moment I think a lot of people are afraid of, and they shouldn't be, and they shouldn't have to be.
Yeah, and I think like what I would say is like, it's all part of the journey. Like I wouldn't give it up because like where I am now, and I'm so grateful because I probably wouldn't be in this position now if I didn't go through all of that. And obviously during that time, I couldn't foresee where I am now. I would always hope that this is where I, would be in a couple of years. And I think I honestly didn't share what I was doing with my life too much because I was a bit ashamed, and I was like I was just promoting my business, and now I'm running to get coffee for, another boss. And like, what? Like, I didn't see this for myself when I first started my two businesses. So I think, just know it's not forever, and just keep going and keep trying. And, I just had to make ends meet, and I just had to survive. And I'm not ashamed of, surviving that time and having different jobs. I didn't like it, but I did it. And, it's gotten me to this point, and I'm glad I didn't give up. Because I think that's the biggest thing, is that it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen, and everything you go through is all for a reason. It's supposed to teach you stuff. And yeah, I don't regret it. Like, as hard as it was, and if like it did feel like my world was falling apart, and I was like, I am a fraud. Like, I had two businesses. I did feel like a rock star at one point, and then wow, I felt like the lowest of the lows. Like, am I not meant to be a business owner? Am I not meant to do entrepreneurship? And I think that's the thing that probably stops people. But if you just keep going, it'll happen. And if you just keep working hard and believing in yourself and what you're creating and what you're building, it'll happen for sure.
And you kept going and you kept doing it, and you turned to cannabis. No, I joke, but you finally, if I'm following your story correctly, it was the third time's a charm, and you guys was it Greenlight? And that was a company that had, your first company that was actually acquired, which is amazing in an extremely short amount of time. So congratulations to you. So you're a regular schmo like the rest of us. You've got a job, and now all of a sudden you're like, okay, I got to get back into it. How do we transition out of the working schmo in the basement back to being the rock star CEO here?
Yeah, so while I was in New York, Mark had started his own couple businesses in the vape industry. He had like a peer-to-peer marketplace. He had an enterprise software business. So, the transition from vape to cannabis for him, he was like, hey, rec is about to be legal in California come 2018. I have this idea. Come back to California and let's all work on this together. So I was like, I had to weigh my options. I was like, I'm getting paid a decent salary. I'm living in New York City. I get to travel because of my job. Like, am I really doing this again? And am I going to jump back into this journey? And so I was like, you know what, let's do it. Like, I'm going to take the risk, take the chance. And so I came back to California. Jade was here as well. And yeah, so the idea for Greenlight was that just as easy it is to get your Uber Eats or, pick up your food via an app locally, you could go to a local dispensary, place your order for pickup, and skip the line and earn loyalty points at the same time. So we came out the gate in 2018, and yeah, it quickly went viral in Southern California, which was awesome. And yeah, and then we just kind of caught the eyes of some people in the industry, and then we got acquired like 9 months after launching it. But I think what really makes us special as a team is one, we've been working together and we've known each other for, the past 10 years or so, but we love technology and we love building a great experience for not only the customers, but our clients as well. And I think that's what really set us apart and made Greenlight such a success, was that we don't just look at, what's in cannabis now. We take inspiration from, the beauty industry with like the Sephoras and the Ultas and the success of their loyalty programs and stuff like that. And we like piece out things that are successful in other industries. And we're like, how can we apply this to cannabis? Because purchasing your cannabis should just be as smooth, simple, convenient as all these other industries, and it's just a bit behind. And so we're trying to, bring in that fresh, modern technology to the space.
Very cool. And then with Drop, I mean, you guys are crushing it. One of the things that I love that you said is you were looking and people were using 3-4 disparate platforms just to play or do delivery, right? And, in some senses, maybe that makes sense when there's a lot of different vendors and everything else involved. But if it's a vertically integrated company, I know down here in Florida, we're vertically integrated. And I talked to one of the dispensary managers, I won't mention the company. She's like, yeah, I have to use 4 different systems just to do a delivery order. I'm like, but it's your company, your product, your employee, your car. Why?
Yeah.
I didn't get it. So, and you guys are like, well, we solved one problem. Let's keep solving more, huh?
Yeah. So with, the inspiration for Drop, we were when we were at Greenlight, we saw everything that is going on with dispensaries, what kind of systems they were using. Obviously, we were just like two pieces of the puzzle for them. And we were always contacted by like delivery license holders, like, do you have anything for us? And so we kind of kept it as an idea in the back of our head. And even back then, in 2018, 2019, after Greenlight got acquired, we knew that delivery was eventually going to be the next big thing for cannabis. And I mean, look at where we are today. I mean, I would never wish a pandemic upon any of us, but it happened and we're still in it. And delivery is now like the number one purchasing option for many industries, basically all of them. And so it definitely put delivery right on the map. And but back when we were building Drop, pre-pandemic, we were like, we talked to so many business owners and they were like, we use like 4 to 5 different things. They're not connected. I, deal with many support teams. I pay different pricing for all of them. We were like, we can do it. We know the e-commerce space. We know the loyalty space. We had success with Greenlight and we just love building great technology and great software. So we're like, that was like the big undertaking. And we started building it last summer. And I think nobody has done this because it's huge. You're like building 4 platforms in one, the effort, resources, the finance, the money it's going to take to build something like this. It's pretty crazy. And I think we are crazy when it comes to, what we like to build. But I think that is our secret sauce, is that we go for it and, we've done it. So we built it last summer, did a beta with like 10 clients, offered it to them for free, just learned how they were using it, what was working, what was not working. And and they all ended up converting into paying clients starting January 2020 when we like launched. And it's been awesome ever since. And what I like to say is that, we built the foundation, we're a tech team at heart. So we build the foundation. We're not, doing deliveries every day. It's these companies and these business owners. So they're giving us all the feedback of like what they need in a platform. And so now I think that's where we're headed, is that we're taking in all this awesome feedback and we're building upon the platform and perfecting it and making it better, week by week based on, what our clients are saying. And I think that, what really sets us apart.
No, and you're 100% right. It is a huge undertaking. So, I mean, again, I'm just going off the things I can assume from a website, that you've got a few different parts. So you've got the app part, which essentially is loyalty, deals, reordering. So I'm assuming that's the client-facing part that you're providing to people. You've got the hub, which is analytics and reporting, which is a mess in this industry, especially with all the different systems there. You've got actual technology that you can track drivers, chat with the drivers. There's more to it that's over my head. And then actually an app for the driver. So, I mean, it seems like from a delivery standpoint, all the way from the customer making the purchase to them receiving it in their hands, you guys are basically covering that entire supply chain from a technology standpoint.
Yeah, exactly. So like you said, it's like 4 big parts. So you have the e-commerce white labeled app that the clients get. And I think that's really special, is because we are empowering these business owners to increase retention with their customers. I think that's not really talked about. Obviously they care about the big marketplaces and all the new inbound customers and everything, but it's like, it is proven. If you increase retention by just 5%, you can increase your profits anywhere from 25 to 95%. So why not have them come back? Why not have them have points and keep reordering and keep ordering from you from an easy app? And then, we give the last mile logistics. So you get a dispatch to manage all your drivers, and your drivers get their own driver app. And then obviously you get the digital loyalty and rewards built in, the SMS marketing, and like kind of all in one. Like we tried to really think, okay, as a delivery license holder, what platforms do I need? What do I really need to run the day-to-day and to be successful as well? Not just to run it, but just to be successful and keep growing and scaling. And so I think what we've put together and what we've seen is that clients love it, because we do cover all of the things and we're helping them grow and scale and keep their customers coming back and spending more. And I think too that just being educated on like who their customers are and what their purchasing habits are and what they're buying, and looking into those nitty gritty details of, their analytics, and trying to make better business decisions because of it is so impactful for them. Because now we're like, hey, you know, you're selling this and you're not really selling some of this. Let's do a deal for this on this day at this time. And let's see what happens, and you'll increase your sales potentially. So.
Very cool. How involved are you guys in that process to kind of help them understand the analytics? Because I mean, so like I've told you before, I have an enterprise technology background. You know, I know that sometimes you can give clients the best tools in the world and the best reporting in the world, but they don't necessarily know how to take action on it. Is there a lot of education in what you guys are doing?
Yeah, so that's something that we're going to focus on in 2021. So we're taking in all this data and we're really learning how they're using it. And we do see that is like some of it kind of just goes over their head and they're kind of just like baseline using it. So going into 2021, we want our clients to make use of all the features as much as possible. But we know that these people, whether they're the business owners or the managers, are so busy. They don't have time to be like thinking about every little thing about the platform. So what we really want to do is add like a machine learning component from all the data that we're taking so that it can spit out these suggestions and education to them automatically. So like I said, hey, you haven't moved this brand or this category of products. Let's do a deal at this time, at this day, to this group of people. Click yes if you want the system to set that up. And then the system will automatically do it for you. So I think, you know, we're really excited to start pursuing that. Just to make it quicker and faster and easier for these business owners to make those decisions with the click of a button. And they don't really have to think about it because we're taking in so much data, which is really exciting and really, really valuable. But how can we translate that to the business owner in a way that is actionable and easy and simple for them? So.
That's awesome. I feel like you personally, that you can bring a lot of your experience to the table just based on all the things that you've done and share that with them by saying like, hey, I'm providing you with this information. Like, this is exactly what you can do with it. And a lot of it is honestly just coming straight from your experience.
Yeah, I think that's what's cool is like, you know, we have a lot of experience in the e-commerce space, especially just from, you know, Greenlight and the loyalty and everything that we learned there. So in just bringing that in, and I mean, with my start in the e-commerce space like 10 years ago. So I definitely do think it all compounds, and we're really excited to just keep helping these businesses grow. Not only sustain, but to grow and grow their business and be more successful because of the platform. And we're excited. You know, this year we've just been like, let's just get out there. Let's just have clients use it. Let's get the feedback. But 2021, we really want to focus on, okay, how can we focus more on the experience for these clients, and how can we use their data to, you know, help them make better business decisions.
Very cool. What markets are you guys live in right now?
Yeah, we're in 4 states and we're in 3 territories in Canada. And we haven't even really done much marketing. A lot of it has been pretty organic, which is exciting. So I think 2021, we're really going to, you know, go for entering new markets, put a lot of effort into marketing and expansion and growth.
Very cool. Have you noticed that some markets are easier for you all than others? Like, for example, California has 4 different license types versus our state here in Florida, which we only have 14 operating companies, which is a thorn in our side, but we're completely vertically integrated.
Yeah.
You know, how do you guys work well in a vertically integrated state versus you know, one that's not? I don't know what the opposite term of vertically integrated in. I probably should know what that is, but, you know, talk to me about that. Are there markets that are better for your solution than others?
Yeah, I think it just really depends. Obviously, the compliancy, the regulations, and upkeeping with all of that state by state definitely does vary. But really, I think what it comes down to is how fast and how efficient our clients move. Like, we are so quick to get you set up within like literally 24 hours, and we can be available at any times of the day to help you get onboarded. And we've seen people go live with our platform within, you know, 24 to 48 hours, but that requires
really cool.
That requires so much effort on their end. So it really just depends on, you know, the effort level on the client. We've seen some clients take a month or a month and a half. And like I said, we've seen some clients take 24 to 48 hours. So a lot of it's on them and, you know, getting owner approval and getting all the people together and getting the onboarding, squared away and getting their profile filled out. But we do try whatever we can help with to set up. We try and take that responsibility just to help the process go faster. But yeah, it really just depends too.
Nice. Well, I've always been a fan of the single pane of glass approach, right? Or you call it single pane of glass. Some people call it the one throat to choke. It's a very negative connotation there, but just trying to offer when they trust you on one thing, and if you can offer them other things at an exceptional level, it's definitely worth it. Is there any other low hanging fruit or features that you think or that you can talk about that you're going to be adding in the future for Drop?
Yeah, there's still a couple things that we're missing. We really focused on like the mobile experience. So, an iframe type of desktop solution for our clients is in the works. Obviously, there's different types of driver inventory models to explore. So, when we entered the market, like I said, we kind of built the foundation of what we thought could be quick, simple, efficient to enter and just get feedback. And so I think that's what's exciting is that we literally just get bombarded with feedback every single day. And I think that client, relationship is what sets us apart, is because like they literally talk to us all day. Like, we want this, or we'd love to see this, and we take it all in, and we're like, okay, we'll fit that in.
I saw you said you guys have an open Slack channel that you talk to all your clients with.
Yeah, and if they're on Slack, and if they're like tech savvy enough, they can join. But yeah, that's the kind of relationship and kind of environment we want to foster with them. It's really a community, and it's really exciting to see. And people can upvote features and stuff, or downvote things that they want to see for us to come out. But I think we're really, with Q4 and going into Q1 of 2021, we do have some exciting things coming that I think will just kind of solidify and complete the platform that we've been missing. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really good year for us next year.
Awesome. Well, that all sounds exciting. Listen, your story is incredible, the whole journey. And I think that one of the coolest things is that you're still working with Jade Mark. All these years later through all the same companies. I got to ask this question. Just when you guys are working together, and I make the assumption that the three of you don't spend as much time working together with each other as you do when things are smaller. But when you guys are in that same room or same situation, how often are you taking trips down memory lane to all the previous experiences you've had together?
Honestly, we move so quick that we really don't look back too much, and we should. I think that is one of our faults. Like, when we reach big milestones, we as a team should definitely like take it in and realize where we've come from and how far we've come. Just last week, we actually oversubscribed our funding round, our seed funding round that we did via crowdfunding, and I definitely like tried to make it a point to our whole team, like, look at how far we've come. In the past 10 years, like all of our individual journeys and collective journeys, I was pitching to anyone to give us investment, even traditional investment VC firms. Like, we've had so many meetings for all our different companies, and it just like never, panned out. And now we have over 2,000 investors from all over the US that, decided to believe in us and what we're kind of doing. And it's a really exciting thing, and people that don't even know us, and just kind of believe in where we're going. So yeah, we do look at like videos like from the A Society days, and like I said, it's always fun to look back and be like, oh my gosh, we were 19. And I'm glad we have that content to kind of like, go down memory lane, because it's really funny and fun sometimes. Like, look at where we are now. But I wouldn't want to be doing it with anyone else. And I think it speaks for itself. We're like a family. And I think we know everything about each other. We treat each other like family, but at the end of the day, we all bring our strengths, our individual strengths, to the team. And I think that's kind of, what makes us special.
Very cool. Well, I'm very excited to have, I don't want to say discover you guys, but being introduced to you. I know Cynthia did it. She is awesome. She's got a great company. I know you like her products, so we can shout them out. House of Saka. I'm so happy I got to learn about your story. I love I really appreciate you being honest and sharing what it was like through the entire journey. I hope it's inspiring to some people to just keep going and get to where you are. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for
What
having
can
me.
we help you promote before we let you go?
Yeah, for any potential clients, if you mention Cannabis Lab and the Elevate Your Grind podcast, we can definitely sort out some type of discount if you end up coming on the Drop platform for sure. So anybody that mentions it, and you can find us at dropdelivery.com, and I'm just Vanessa at dropdelivery.com via email if anybody ever wants to like chat or ask questions. Always love connecting with other people in the space.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much. I definitely want to have you back as you guys grow, and I'm excited to watch your journey.
Thanks. Yeah, you should have Mark, my CTO, come on and talk more about the technology and stuff. He could definitely.
Definitely. Well, I'll reach back out to you and we'll get that going. So
Yeah.
thank you. And thank you, everybody, again at home. This has been another episode of Elevate Your Grind. We'll see you Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're out.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. That was fun. Like your story is awesome. I meant that. So
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm thankful, you have this type of platform, and congrats to you for pursuing this and being able to have people like me kind of share our story and, yeah.
no, appreciate it. I'm still in the day job phase. But I got a wife and kid I got to support. So listen, I know it's a little competitive. Like I said, I work for Spring Big, but if there's anything that is not competitive or that we can do together or we can help you with, just let me know.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And yeah, no, congrats on your job at Spring Big. And obviously they're a great company, very established in the space. And so, looking to get there too.
Best of luck. And do me a favor, just do it. If you can do an email introduction to Mark, I would love to have him on. Probably just wait like a month, probably like a month or two, but definitely have him back on. So
yeah, he would love
right.
that. He loves talking about all the technology stuff and can definitely speak to it like way more than I can. So
awesome. Cool.
okay.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting you, and I'm sure we'll talk again.
Talk soon. Bye.
All right. Bye.